Let's go to Dina from San Francisco, listens on her iPhone. And hello there, Dina.
Hi there. Thanks so much.
Thank you for hanging in here with us. How are you today? What's going on?
Well, fine. I listen to your program all the time, and I just thought this might be a great question for you all.
Okay.
I'm in my late 50s. I have elderly parents in their late 80s, and my mother is a raving narcissist and has been a control freak my whole life.
Okay,
and
now
I'm not blaming her, but there's so many problems from that.
Okay, now could you just give us a couple examples of her behavior, that how extreme this is, just so we'll kind of understand? And I'm kind of fascinated with it, to hear it. So
yeah.
If you could share that with us.
Well, I grew up under, it was like a Nazi regime. I mean, there were just so many rules and regulations, and according to how I dressed, when I went out, what I did, I was very, very sheltered. And everything was fear-focused. It was all about control, and anything I said or did had to be, agreed to by her. In essence, it was almost like liberty was taken away, but I didn't know that till later when I was thrust into the real world with no tools. And believe me, this is not a blame game.
Yeah.
It's just what I've learned through a lot of therapy.
Sure.
My father, probably to live with her, was an enabler. And so as the oldest of three and the first girl, my siblings saw the path I was on, and they just went in a different direction. But I was the one that that the parents sort of nailed, and I felt so bad about being good that I just acquiesced and learned to be a pleaser.
Okay, so what's the question for us then? How could we help you with this?
Sorry.
No, it's okay.
So here we are, 2010, Christmas of 2009. It's a family affair. I go from California to Florida. It's all of my siblings and their children and my parents. And all of a sudden, I don't know what it was. I guess I was giving my father some sort of attention with his stupid iPhone, and my mother just for 4 days went on a tear with me, and everything I said or did was really dramatically criticized in front of everyone, and people were speechless. So I was stunned. I was going through a bad divorce at the same time, got divorced in January, and it was just too much for me. So over 9 months, there's been no communication. Now, I'm not bitter, I'm not angry, but they're on their way out. And as a good, supportive person, I want to find some way back without having to open that door up, because I'm very frightened by it again.
Okay. So the question for us would be,
what do I do?
What do you do to open or to reconnect with them, but not have to go back to the and resolve
not sell myself out again?
Yeah. Well, don't you think if you call them that it's kind of selling yourself out?
I do. That's why I haven't done anything.
Okay. So let's see what Jill and Mylan think would be good.
Well, Dina, I understand this is you not wanting to open things up with them. It sounds like you pretty much accept who they are.
Yes.
And so, in their later years, you're not going to change them any. So right. I think you have to look at self-preservation for you.
Yeah.
What did you give up? What of yourself did you give up? And how can you reclaim that? Does it mean you may have to make a statement to them about that it's not okay for you to rage at me, and if you do that again, then I will leave the room? Or if you rage at me on the telephone, then the conversation will be over.
Or while they're alive, write a letter and tell them.
I've done all that.
You've done all that? Over this past 9 months, you've done that?
Yes.
And no response?
I wrote my father for his 89th birthday.
Okay.
Found a window to go through that didn't compromise me in any way. But it's never enough. They want my story, and then they want to tell me their lives, and that's the end of the. They want to hear about me, but it's from a standpoint of knowing my business rather than supporting me.
It seems to me you're kind of a disgrace to your mother, who's the perfectionist, and
it's something
because you're not perfect. So
right.
She was expecting to raise that perfect child. If she put all those rules and regulations down, the result was supposed to be the perfect daughter. and you didn't do that. You were normal, and she couldn't
to
handle it.
A narcissist, you were supposed to reflect back that mirror of what a great parent she is, right?
Yeah.
So you've let her down in that
But
way.
I won't play that game. I cannot.
Okay.
I can't.
Well, you may
foster
just
that.
have to let it go rather than you've already tried to reconnect with the letter to the dad, or whatever you did. So you maybe just have to let it go.
But you said that you accepted them for who they are, okay? That you're not going to change them, but you're still wanting something from them.
You know what I want? I want some peace. I want some. I just want some peace and some quiet. And everybody can be who they are, but don't connect in a way that they. If they connect with me or I connect with them, it becomes that manipulation. It will. It's just it's a button for me.
Okay, but so much of what you're saying is just unacceptable. You just said it's okay for people to be what they are, and I'm going, really? And you said, well, I'm not bitter and angry. And I go, why not? And you say, well, I don't want to blame anybody, and I'm not blaming them. And I go, why not?
I think I've already done all that.
Well,
I'm
but
too old to carry this with me.
No. It's not as to carry. It's to say, who am I? I'm not going to let them treat me like this.
Yeah.
And so if you want to enter back into a relationship with your mom, you have to understand she's toxic. If you want to enter into a relationship with your mom, you have to understand she is not a nice person. She will beat you up at a drop of a hat. Maybe what you have to do, instead of trying to take the soft pleaser route, you have to make a phone call to mom and say, do you ever want to see me again the rest of your life before you die?
Yeah, that's a good one.
And then you say, if you do, here's the rules. You may not beat me up like you did last year. If I make a mistake, let it go. And if you don't, I will walk out of the house like Steve said. And if you do that again, you'll not see me again the rest of your life.
I'm just curious, though. I think that is a very good plan.
Yeah,
I think
really
good. But you've got to, before you do that, you've got to say, okay, I'm going to let this go. If she can't handle this call, if she doesn't want to see me, I've got to let this go. But I think you really ought to spend some time thinking about what Jill asked about what is it do I need from her? Not what do you need, like peace and quiet, but what do you need from your mother, or what are you wanting for your mother? What are you missing from your mother? There's something there.
Some validation.
Oh, you want a nod of
I'll never get it.
You want a nod of approval that this tirade's over, so that you can relax again.
Accept you and see you for you.
That's just probably not going to happen.
It ain't going to happen, believe me.
And when somebody's toxic, you have to think of them as mentally ill. And so
it's just, I know, and I totally agree with you. I've had enough therapy that I understand where I am. Read Boundaries. I've read How We Love. I've read every single book that the Cloud and Townsend have ever written. I'm so on to this. The thing is, they're my parents. There's something about not just the person down the street, not the person I've known for 30 years. It's just the parent thing.
And here's the unfortunate thing for you. The parent thing is a really sick thing.
Yeah, it is.
Okay, so it's not just the parent thing, you see, because other people could say it's this parent thing, and they could go over and hug and reconcile and walk off into the sunset beautifully. That's not going to happen for you. It doesn't sound like. So, I've talked about this word before, but this word acceptance. I think the peace and quiet that you want, that you really want, it doesn't come from her, some comment. It has to come from you, and turning this over to God, surrendering to God, removing all bitterness, rage, anything that's there toward them.
I'm on my knees all the time about it. I truly want that.
So
Dina, you feel like the overly responsible firstborn.
Yeah,
I gotta fix this whole thing. I gotta somehow patch it all up before mom and dad are gone.
Yeah, and I think maybe too, because when they're gone, then there's no patching it up.
Yeah.
So it feels more urgent.
But it doesn't sound like it's going to get patched. I mean, this is a woman 9 months to not talk to her daughter. She's pretty committed at her age to do this, and I think she really is on the extreme side of bizarre. I mean, that is a very, very narcissistic, controlling, negative.
Well, for Dina at 50-something to overcome this with mom now is tough, but it can be done. I've walked through some of this myself, where you have to say, I'm sorry, if you do that again, I'm leaving the room, or I'm sorry, that's unacceptable, I'll see you tomorrow, and you walk out of the room.
I'm going to send Dina not a John and Henry book, because she's read all those.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I'm going to send her Healing as a Choice. I think it could really help her.
Well, the thing I love about Healing as a Choice is the opening line. It's the quote of Christ. Do you want to get better? Do you want to change? Do you want to be healed?
Yeah.
Right.
Easy to say.
It's
and
hard to do,
tough
and the
to
change
do.
has to be with Dina.
Yeah.
Okay, Dina, I'm glad you called.